I die tonight, I hope they play my favorite song. Hope whoever's left don't blame themselves for what went wrong. If I die tonight, I left some things unsaid, I know, but everything I felt was real, even when it didn't show. Been staring at the ceiling, making peace with who I am. With every bridge I burn and every canceled plan, made moves I can't take back, left rooms I shouldn't have left. Chose the money over people till there wasn't nothing left. Friends I had since childhood, now they strangers on the feed. Mama used to worry about me, now she worries differently. Grew up too fast or maybe never really grew at all. Built the wall so high around me that I forgot to build a door. If I die tonight, I hope they play my favorite song. Hope whoever's left don't blame themselves for what went wrong. If I die tonight, I left some things unsaid, I know, but everything I felt was real, even when it didn't show. I pushed the good ones out before the bad ones even enter. Then I blamed the bad ones when the whole thing got dismembered. Kept the wrong ones at the table like I owed them something. Then I wonder why I felt like I was always running. Wrote things in a journal that I'll never read out loud. Thoughts I only think at 3 a.m. when ain't no crowd. Not asking for a pity, I don't want nobody crying. Just want somebody real to say they saw me even while I'm lying. Or don't want a eulogy from someone that don't know me. I want somebody in that room to know the real me, not the trophy. If I go, I want the people that I love to feel it real, not a stranger at a podium recapping some highlight reel. I've been thinking about the people that I hurt without intent. All the times I should've stayed, but chose to pack and went. All the calls I didn't pick because I needed room to breathe. Never thought that room was stretching till there's nothing in between. If I die tonight, the money on the table means nothing. All the chains and cars and watches, all of that means nothing. What remains is what I gave, the moments and the time. And I gave too little love for everything I took from mine. If I die tonight, I hope they play my favorite song. Hope whoever's left don't blame themselves for what went wrong. If I die tonight, I left some things unsaid, I know, but everything I felt was real, even when it didn't show. If I die tonight, hope they know I tried. I felt everything I never said. Everything was real. I keep retracing steps, trying to find where it all went wrong. Following the road back to the version before it got too long. I keep retracing steps before I took the turn I missed. Somewhere on that road I lost a person on my list. It didn't happen overnight, it never does, it never should. Started with small choices that I made cause they felt good. Small lie here, small skip there, ducking one responsibility. And the small things stacked so high they block my visibility. One bad friend became a circle, circle became life. One bad habit became ritual, ritual became night. I don't remember making the decision to go left. I just looked up one day and realized I was somewhere in a mess. I keep retracing steps, trying to find where it all went wrong. Following the road back to the version before it got too long. I keep retracing steps before I took the turn I missed. Somewhere on that road I lost the person on my list. Yeah. 17 and had the whole thing mapped out clean. By 20-something, everything I mapped was just a dream. Not because life cheated me, life gave me every chance. I just kept showing up to every table, but the right one, damn. I chose the fast lane when the slow one had my name on it. I chose the crowd when the solitude was right for it. I chose the version of me that impressed the wrong rooms. Now I'm standing in the right room, feeling like I got here too soon. Maybe it went wrong before I even had a choice. Before I had the language, had the volume, had the voice. Maybe what I call mistakes was just a lesson with bad timing. Maybe going wrong was just a longer route to finding. I replay conversations that I handled with no grace. All the moments I chose ego where I should've chose the space. All the times somebody reached out and I turned the other way. All the times I knew the truth and chose the comfortable out of state. I ain't looking for forgiveness, I ain't building a defense. I'm just trying to understand the cost of every past event. Tracing back the line to see the exact coordinate the place where the map first been, and I decided I was fine with going astray. I keep retracing steps, trying to find where it all went wrong. Following the road back to the version before it got too long. I keep retracing steps before God took the turn I missed. Somewhere on that road I lost the person on my list. I know it now, just a little too late, a little too late, yeah, a little too late, yeah. Sorry I wasn't ready. Sorry I wasn't ready when you needed me to be. Sorry I kept showing up as half of who I should be. Sorry I wasn't ready, giving you the leftover parts. Sorry I took the easy way, yeah, of your heart. You deserve the whole version, not the edited one. Not the highlight reel I show to everyone. You got the 2 a.m. me, broken and confused. You got the aftermath of every battle that I bruised. You tried to reach the real me through the layers I built, and every time you got close, I covered it in guilt. I made you feel responsible for things that weren't yours to carry. I made you feel the weight of something I should've. Sorry I wasn't ready when you needed me to be. Sorry I kept showing up as half of who I should be. Sorry I wasn't ready, giving you the leftover parts. Sorry I took the easy way of your heart. You used to ask me what's on your mind and I'd say nothing, babe, when everything inside me had been drowning for days. I kept it in because I thought that strong meant silent. Kept it in until the silence turned the whole thing violent. Not violence with my hands, violence with my distance. Disappearing in the room, gone without a minute. I watched you slowly stop asking cause you learned I wouldn't answer. I watched you close the door that you kept open just for answers. I wasn't broken when you found me, I just wasn't whole. And I mistook your patience for permission not to grow. You weren't supposed to fix me and I made you feel like you should. I'm sorry for the season that I took more than I could. If I could do it over, I'd show up differently, not perfectly, just honestly, consistently, in real time. I'd say I'm struggling before it reached the boiling point. I'd ask for help before I burn the whole thing at the joint. But I can't trade a past, so all I got is this admission that you were right about the version, me in the position. You said you miss me when I'm gone, and I laughed it off. You left quietly, no drama, and that silence hit the hardest. Sorry I wasn't ready when you needed me to be. Sorry I kept showing up as half of who I should be. Sorry I wasn't ready, giving you the leftover parts. Sorry I took the easy way oh yeah. Sorry I wasn't ready. You deserve the whole thing, the whole thing. No, no, no. Kept the wrong company, paid the right price for it. Laughed with the wrong people, they smiled while I was lit. Kept the wrong company, confused loyalty with proximity. Surrounded but alone, that's the realest kind of misery. Everybody at the table when the food was on the spread. Half of them went quiet when I needed help instead. Called them brothers, called them day ones, gave them access to my space. Now I wouldn't call them anything, wouldn't remember half they face. The right ones tried to warn me, but my pride was talking louder. Said you moving different and I took that as a power. The wrong ones told me what I wanted, kept me comfortable and blind. Real ones kept it honest, so I left the real ones behind. Kept the wrong company, paid the right price for it. Laughed with the wrong people, they smiled while I was lit. Kept the wrong company, confused loyalty with proximity. Surrounded but alone, that's the realest kind of misery. Funny how the crowd get thin when blessings turn to burdens. Nobody bring their energy when life closed all the curtains. Same people that was proud of me went quiet real quick. Same people that was day ones couldn't stomach being sick. Pulled up to the party with my name up in the air. Soon as things got heavy, looked around, nobody there. That's the tax you pay for building with the wrong foundation. Can't be mad at termites when you built on termites' patience. I don't hate nobody that I kept around too long. Some of them were just as lost, singing the same song. But I take the blame for knowing and still opening the door. Keep inviting in the same thing and expect something more. I lost real ones while I was busy with the temporary. Missed birthdays of the solid while attending the contrary. Skipped the ones who called just checking in with no agenda. For the ones who only called me when they needed something, remember. Now it's quiet in a different way, the phone book's mostly hollow. I could scroll for 20 minutes, nobody I'd follow. Taught myself to be alone, cause the crowd costs too much. Now the silence is familiar, but it's still a little much. The wrong company, paid the right price for it. Laughed with the wrong people, they smiled while I was lit. Kept the wrong company, confused loyalty with proximity. Surrounded but alone, that's the realest kind of misery. Wrong company, yeah. Surrounded and alone, that's the realest. Still paying for it. Five, everybody I lost. Everybody I lost. I lost them piece by piece. Some of them walked out, some of them just ceased. Everybody I lost left the room in me empty. I got a house of hollow rooms, too many. Lost my uncle to the sickness in the system, didn't see it. Lost my cousin to the street before I even got to be it. Lost my childhood best friend to a pride that got too tall. We were brothers for a decade, now we don't talk at all. Lost the love to my own fear of being fully known. She gave me everything I wanted, but I kept one foot at home. Lost some mentors to the silence, stopped reaching out myself. Left the relationship to wither on the shelf. Everybody I lost them piece by piece. Some of them walked out, some of them just ceased. Everybody I lost left the room in me empty. I got a house of hollow rooms, too many. I lost the version of my father that I needed growing up. He was there but somewhere else, that's a different kind of tough. Lost the version of my mother before the weight got to her face. Before the years of caring too much replaced her with a stranger in the space. Lost old neighborhoods to gentrification, gone too fast. Lost the corner store to feeling nothing from the past. Lost a few of the choices that I made inside the wrong hour. Lost a few just to the way that growing up devours. The ones that passed I carry heavy.
different kind of grief. The one still living that I lost, that's a different kind of thief. One takes them, one's a choice, and choice is harder to accept. This choice means somewhere in the road I should've turned and left. I keep their numbers in my phone like deleting is betrayal. Old voicemails I won't erase, old texts I won't derail. Some nights I pull them up and read them just to feel the weight, just to remind myself that real was real, not something fake. I wonder if they think about me half as much as I think of them. I wonder if they know they crossed my mind at 4 a.m. Everybody that I lost became a room inside my chest. Some nights I walk through every room and try to get some rest. Everybody I lost them piece by piece. Some of them walked up, some of them just ceased. Everybody I lost left the room in me empty. I got a house of hollow rooms, too many rooms, too many empty rooms. Everybody I lost, I still feel them in the silence.
I don't recognize a person in the mirror anymore. He got my face but lost the things I used to stand for. Who I became is not the plan I had at the start. Got the life I said I wanted but I lost it in the heart. 10 years ago I had a list of things I'd never do. Checked almost every box I swore I'd never cross into. Said I'd never sell myself for comfort, said I'd keep it real. Said I'd never let the money change the way that people feel. Said I'd never pick the optics over truth in any room. Said I'd stay the same regardless of the money and the bloom. But the person that I promised never met the circumstance, never felt the pressure of the world before they had the chance. I don't recognize a person in the mirror anymore. He got my face but lost the things I used to stand for. Who I became is not the plan I had at the start. Got the life I said I wanted but I lost it in the heart. Became the person that I used to talk about with shame, chasing the validation and the clout and all the fame. Started moving different, started choosing different rooms, started filtering the truth to keep the right impression in tune. Lost my patience with the people that were slow to match my pace. Started confusing boundaries with just building more space. Became efficient at the cost of being warm. Became successful right as I was losing the form. I'm not saying that I'm terrible, I know I'm not the worst. I'm saying somewhere in the race I lost myself first. And winning without yourself is just a different kind of broke. A furnished empty room inside a very expensive joke. Sometimes I miss the hunger when the money wasn't there. When I stayed up chasing something cause I actually cared. When the people around me were there because of who I was, not because of what I had or what my name could does. I wanna walk it back but can't undo the years I spent building up a version that I never really meant. I'm starting from the honest place, admitting I went wrong. Became somebody in the world and lost myself along. I don't recognize a person in the mirror anymore. He got my face but lost the things I used to stand for. Who I became is not the plan I had at the start. Got the life I said I wanted but I lost it in the heart. Who I became, I don't know him anymore. Got my face, lost my heart. Seven, what pride costs me. What pride costs me, I can't get it back. Every time I chose my ego, I don't give a refund on that. What pride cost me was real, and I paid with things I love. Trade the ego for the people, and I came up short above. Pride told me never apologize, look weak if you do. Pride said they need you more than you could ever need something new. Pride had me hold a silence when I should've said I'm sorry. Pride had me double down on wrong, cause right felt like a story. Lost a friendship to a fight that neither one of us remembers. Lost a relationship to a pride that kept me being a pretender. She said just admit you wrong, and I sat there like a statue. Watched her leave the room forever over something I knew too. It what pride cost me, I can't get it back. Every time I chose my ego, life don't give a refund on that. What pride cost me was real, and I paid with things I love. Trade the ego for the people, and I came up short above. Pride told me not to call first, even when I was the one who messed it up, who walked out, who left it undone. Pride made me act unbothered when I was bothered to the core. Made me mask the need for people, like needing was a flaw. I watched my circle shrink and told myself I liked the size. Convinced myself the quiet was a peace in disguise. But quiet isn't peace when it's built from people leaving. And pride is just a story that you tell to stop the grieving. I don't think pride is evil, I think pride is just afraid. Afraid of being seen as weak, afraid the real will fade. But every time I let it steer, I ended up more alone. Pride kept writing checks my happiness had to condone. I wanna call him up and say, I've been thinking of the day we stopped being what we were and how I handled that the wrong way. I wanna text her just to say I understand it better now. I wanna find the words for all the people that I wronged somehow. But pride still lives in me, a tenant I can't fully evict. It still flinches at the humble, still default to the conflict. I'm working on it slowly, smallest step by smallest step. Trying to choose the people before pride makes me a threat. What pride cost me, I can't get it back. Every time I chose my ego, life don't give a refund on that. What pride cost me was real, and I paid with things I love. Trade the ego for the people, and I came up short above. I paid in people, paid in time, paid in rules. No refund on that. Yeah. Letters I never said, living in a drove. Words I couldn't say out loud, needed something more. Letters I never sent to everyone I failed. Everything I should have said, written, stamped, but never mailed. There's a letter to my father that I started in the dark. 3 pages in and gave up cause I didn't know the part. Where I tell him that I needed him without it sounding like a blame. Where I say I turned out fine without it coming out as claim. There's a letter to my mother that I wrote and then rewrote. Couldn't find a line between the gratitude and what she don't know. All the things I hid from her to keep her from the weight. The person she don't know I wasn't 22 or 28. Letters I never sent, living in a drawer. Words I couldn't say out loud, needed something more. Letters I never sent to everyone I failed. Everything I should have said, written, stamped, but never mailed. It's a letter to the girl who got the worst to me at night, when I was most confused and using her to feel alright. I used her understanding as a place to fall apart. Never checked the cost of that until she checked out of my heart. There's a letter to the friend who saw me fall and reached a hand. I shook it off and told him I was good, I had a plan. No plan at all, just pride in smoke and borrowed time. He stopped reaching after a while and I understood the sign. Maybe letters aren't the answer if I'm honest. Maybe what I owe is presence, not a promise. A phone call, not a paragraph, or showing up in person. But the letters are the training wheels before the courage worsens.
There's a letter to myself at 17 with a warning about the shortcuts and the circles and the dangerous mornings, about the people worth the effort and the ones that only take it, about the love that's unconditional and how not to mistake it, about the body keeping score of everything you think is hidden, about the truth that surfaces regardless of how deep it's driven. If I ever find the nerve to send the ones I wrote and kept, I'll start with me, then everybody that I left.
Letters I never sent, living in a drawer. Words I couldn't say out loud, needed something more. Letters I never sent, to everyone I failed. Everything I should have said, written, stamped, but never mailed. Never sent. Never sent. Yeah. Living in a drawer, living in a chest. Should've sent, never sent out. You for the fashions. 3 a.m. confessions when the masks come off at night, when the quiet gets too loud and I'm the only one in sight. 3 a.m. confessions, only time I'm really me. Everything I told the world I'm not, that's all I really be. 3 a.m. I'm scrolling through old photos of who we used to be, before the money in the distance made us strangers, you and me. Before I thought that having more would fill the thing I'm missing. Before I learned expensive lonely is still lonely in the prison. I confess I'm not as solid as the image I project. I confess some days the confidence is just a form of self-protect. I confess the toughest face I wear belongs to the most fragile hour. I confess I'm scared of dying, but I'm more scared of this tower. 3 a.m. confessions when the masks come off at night, when the quiet gets too loud and I'm the only one in sight. 3 a.m. confessions, only time I'm really me. Everything I told the world I'm not, that's all I really be. I confess I cry sometimes alone, no camera, no record, no performance for nobody, just the weight that I collected. Not about one thing, just everything accumulated. Years are kept and years are swallowed, years are self-translated. I confess I miss people that I pretend to be over. I confess I check old pages like the season still got closure. I confess that some of my success feels like distraction from dealing with the interior, the fundamental traction. 3 a.m. is the only hour where I stop negotiating, stop performing for the version of me that keeps on waiting, the version that just wants to sit and feel what he's been feeling, not fix it, not explain it, just be real without the ceiling. I confess I'm tired, not the kind of sleep can fix. I'm tired in the way that comes from years of certain things. Tired of the navigation, tired reading every room, tired of deciding how much real to let into the view. 3 a.m. confessions, don't go anywhere by morning. The sun come up, the mask go back, the world return to normal. But for 3 or 4 hours in the middle of the dark, I remember who I am beneath the part I play in part. 3 a.m. confessions when the mask come off at night, when the quiet gets too loud and I'm the only one in sight. 3 a.m. confessions, only time I'm really me. Everything I told the world I'm not, that's all I really be. 3 a.m. It's me in the dark. Confessions nobody hears. Nobody hears. It's the realest I ever knew. If this is goodbye, I want it to be quiet. Not a big production, not a crowd, just the right. The private kind of quiet where it's finally understood that I lived as well as broken ever could. I'm not going anywhere, let me say that at the start. This is just a conversation I've been having with my heart. Late at night when everything I built don't feel like shelter. Late at night when all the money and the name just feel like pressure. If this is goodbye to the version I've been wearing like a coat, the version I constructed line by line, note by note, I want the exit quiet, no announcement, no parade, just me and the decision to stop being so afraid. If this is goodbye, I want it to be quiet. Not a big production, not a crowd, just a riot. The private kind of quiet where it's finally understood that I lived as well as broken ever could. If this is goodbye, the things I used to think define me, the image and the posture and the ego that confine me, I wanna leave them at the door and walk in somewhere lighter. Trade the heavy I've been carrying for something a little brighter. Not asking for perfection, not signing up for easy, just asking for the honest over everything that's breezy. Just asking for the version of me shows his face in daylight, not just at 3 a.m. when he's alone and it's alright. Maybe goodbye ain't an ending, maybe it's a clearing, like burning off the forest so the new growth starts appearing. I've been holding on to versions of myself that overstayed. Maybe goodbye is just the kindest thing I ever made. This is goodbye to this album, to this year, to all this weight. I want whoever hears this to know something before it's late. You're not the only one who's built the wall and lives inside it. You're not the only one who's got a mess, they try to hide it. The difference between surviving and just barely going through is finding one small thing tonight that's real enough to hold on to. If I died tonight, the legacy I leave behind is this: be real while you can, don't wait for final to confess. Tell them while you're here, the people that you love and lost and miss. The moments are the only thing that history consists. If this is goodbye, I want it to be quiet. Not a big production, not a crowd, just a ride. The private kind of quiet where it's finally understood that I lived as well as broken never could. If this is goodbye, still here though. Still here, still trying. Lived as well as broken never could. That's enough. That's enough.